Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed some introductory concepts of trigonometry. Okay. So in the last class, I have discussed generally about trigonometry, which is not in the 11th standard. Okay. As a bridge course, I have discussed the trigonometry. Okay. So now we are going to discuss the chapter in your syllabus, which is somewhat easy, and it is also an important chapter in the point of your examinations for both 11th and 12th standard. Okay, the chapter which we are going to discuss now is the 8th chapter of your 11th standard book, that is chapter 8, Vector Algebra 1. Okay, it continues in the 12th standard also, so you have to be very careful in listening the class, because as the extension of this only you are going to study in the 12th standard. So you have to listen the class in the 11th standard, then you can carry that to the 12th standard. Okay, so before getting into the topic, you have to be in clear with the concepts what I am telling now. These are all some general concepts which is not available in your book. Okay, so now before introducing the topic, the physical quantities. What are all the physical quantities you are having? The physical quantities are broadly classified into two categories. One is scalars and other is vectors. Okay, so the physical quantities are broadly classified into scalars and vectors. First, we will discuss about scalars. Then we will go for the vectors. Okay, scalars. As per the definition, a physical quantity which has only magnitude. What is meant by magnitude means it is a real number. The magnitude is the real number. Then it also represents the size of the quantity. So magnitude is nothing but size of the quantity. Okay, is known as a scalar quantity. So you have to be clear with the definition that the physical quantity which has only magnitude is known as scalar quantity. Now let us discuss some examples for the scalars. Okay, in short you have to remember that scalar means it is a real number. If I say 5, it is a real number. We can say the 5 is a scalar. If I say 7, it is also a scalar. Okay, so the magnitude is nothing but real number. In short, we can say that scalars are also real numbers. Now, the examples for scalars is mass, length, area, volume, time, work, distance, speed. And some more examples is also there. That is temperature. It is also a scalar quantity. So in short, we can say that, suppose for example, if I can say that the height of the tower is 15 meter. Here I am representing the height of the tower by a magnitude, that is a real number 15. So that height is a scalar quantity. Suppose length of the board, say for example 1 meter or 2 meter, there also I am in need of a magnitude to describe the length. Okay, in the same way, if suppose I am doing a work, I am taking 3 hours to complete the work. So the time I am taking is 3 hours. So 3 is a magnitude, that is real number. To represent time, I am in need of 3, a magnitude number. So it is known as scalar quantity. So I hope that you all understood that scalar are nothing but real numbers which represents a quantity. Okay, and you have to be familiar that for the representation of scalars, we are not in need of the direction. Only a number is enough. That is known as magnitude. Okay, now we are going to see certain properties of the scalars. Since scalars are the real numbers, obviously scalars obey the algebraic rules for the operations like addition and multiplication as well as subtraction. What are all the rules we are having for the real numbers? Those rules will be applicable for the scalars. And one more thing, a scalar can divide another scalar. You can divide one number by other number. So that only I am saying that a scalar can divide another scalar. So scalars is a short. Okay, so these are all the things you have to know about the scalars. But vectors are large quantities and it has wider application in all over the field. Okay, so next we will see the definition for vectors, types of vectors, and what are all the applications of vectors in the day-to-day life. Okay. So as we have discussed about the scalars, now we are going to see the definition for the vectors and how to represent the vectors and the notation for the vectors, examples for the vectors and the types of vectors. Okay. So vectors, the quantities which has both magnitude and direction is known as vectors. In the case of scalars, we have discussed that the quantities which are having only magnitude is known as scalars, but the quantities which has both magnitude and direction is known as vectors. Here, the magnitude represents the size of the vector. Okay, the magnitude represents the size of the vector. Then. And also you have to make a note of this definition that vectors describes the movement of an object from one point to another point. So vector describes the movement of an object from one point to other point. It moves from one point to other point. That is, starting point will be there and there will be a ending point. Towards that point it will go. Okay. Then vectors are represented by a line with an arrow. It is very important. The vectors are represented by a line with an arrow where the length of the line is the magnitude of the vector. In short, we can say that the vectors are represented by directed line. Okay, so directed line segment. Okay, next. And the arrow shows the direction. You have to put an arrow mark over the vector. That arrow mark shows the direction of the vector, that is starting to end. Okay. Now the vectors are generally named in these names also. That is what is Euclidean vector, or we can say it is a geometric vector, or we can say it is a spatial vector, or simply we can say it is a vector. So these are all represents the same thing. Euclidean vector or geometric vector or spatial vector, or simply we can say it is a vector. Now I have given you the diagram. Okay, so what is that? In general, vectors are picturized by the directed line segment. That is directed line segment. So this is the directed line segment in which the length of the line segment is known as magnitude. Length means it is a scalar, that is non-negative number. Usually length you will not take it in the negative. I cannot say that the pencil is 5 cm long. We cannot say like that because length is always positive. You have to say only in the positive quantity. So that only I am saying magnitude of a vector is always positive. That is the length of the line segment. Then there will be a starting point and there will be a ending point. You have to take the starting point as the tail. You have to take the starting point as tail. And where you are the arrow mark, you are having that known as head of the vector. Okay. So for a vector, you are having a tail, that is the starting point, and you are having a head where the arrow mark is here. That is known as head. This is the direction of the vector. So this is the starting point and this is the ending point. So it goes in this direction. So that only I have indicated the direction. Vectors has wider applications in physics and geometry. Okay. So all the three-dimensional geometric works are based upon the vectors. Now we are going to see some of the examples of the vector and the types of vector, and we are going to see the definition one by one for each type of vectors. So now we are going to see some examples of vectors. So the examples are velocity, acceleration, force, then increase, decrease in temperature. There I have mentioned only temperature. Here I have mentioned increase or decrease in temperature. If the temperature is increasing, means what you will have? You are rising. So there is a direction. If your temperature is decreasing means you are coming down. So there is a direction. So that one way I am mentioning increase, decrease in temperature comes under vectors. There is a direction. But generally if you are taking that as a temperature means then it is a scalar quantity. Okay, so make a note of that. Similar concepts for speed and velocity. Speed is a number, but velocity has the direction. Okay, now the notation for the vector. As I have mentioned that vectors are represented by directed line segment. So I have taken the line segment AB and I have given the direction from A to B you are moving. So the towards I have indicated the arrow mark from A to B. I have taken this vector as A vector, that is vector A. Okay, so the length of the line AB is the magnitude of the vector. Suppose if you are having that the vector is AB vector or vector AB, then this is A vector or vector A. The prompt way to read is this is vector AB and this is vector A, whose magnitude of the vector is shown by two vertical lines. Okay, shown by two vertical lines. So two vertical lines on both sides of the given vector. Suppose if you want to take magnitude for a vector, so I am having AB vector. I have to take modulus or magnitude means you have to make use of two vertical lines. These two lines are vertical lines. Then it will become a scalar. So whenever you are taking modulus for a vector, it will become a scalar. Modulus is represented by two vertical lines. Okay. Suppose in the same way, modulus of vector A is nothing but A. So modulus represents the length of the vector. Whenever you are taking modulus for a vector, it will become the positive quantity. That positive quantity is known as the length of the vector. Okay. Then mathematically the magnitude of the vector is calculated by the help of Pythagoras theorem. Suppose if you are having a point x comma y in space, that is the two-dimensional point. If you want to find the magnitude for that point, that is the position is modulus A vector equal to square root of x square plus y square. So I am not getting deep into the topic because separately we will discuss how to take modulus for a given vector. Now you have to remember only one thing, that is if you take modulus for a vector, that will become a scalar. That is known as the length of that vector. Okay. Next we are going to see the type of vectors. So totally we are having 10 important vectors, 10 important types of vectors are there. Now I am going to summarize all the 10 types of the vector and then we are going to see the vectors definition separately one by one in detail. So now type of vectors. So I am summarizing the vectors. After that we will see the definitions of each and every vector one by one in detail. Okay. So first zero vector, unit vector, position vector, co-initial vector and co-terminus vectors, like and unlike vector, coplanar vector, collinear vector or parallel vector, equal vector, displacement vector, negative of a vector. These types are extremely important, which will be applicable in mathematics and higher science subjects. Okay, so you have to be clear with these definitions while solving the problems. Then only you can able to apply these results in the given problems and you can solve the problem. So first let us see about the zero vector in detail. Okay, so first zero vector, which is represented or written like this, zero vector. The definition for this, the zero vector is a vector where the magnitude of the vector is zero. So the first information, if the magnitude of a vector is zero, then we can say that the vector is a zero vector. And also you have to make a note of this point, that is the starting point of the vector coincides with the terminal point. As I have mentioned earlier, there will be a starting point and the ending point. If the starting point coincides with the ending point, then we can say that that is also a zero vector. For example, if you are having a vector which is equal to zero vector, because the starting point is also a and the ending point is also a. Next step. Then the direction of the zero vector is indeterminate. That is, it can be an arbitrary direction. Arbitrary direction means there won't be any specific direction. That only I have insisted that indeterminate. The direction of the zero vector is indeterminate. Next step. The zero vector are also known as null vector or a void vector. Okay. So next we are going to see the definition for unit vector. So next unit vector. From the name itself you have to know that unit means one. Okay. So a vector which has a magnitude of unit length. Unit length means it can be 1 centimeter, 1 meter, 1 kilometer, like that. But it should have the numerical value 1. Okay. So unit length is called a unit vector. Okay. So whenever the modulus of a vector is 1, then that vector is known as unit vector. Then a vector of magnitude 1 is called a unit vector. That only I have now told that. The unit vector in the direction of a vector is denoted by a cap. Okay. So this symbol is specially for only unit vectors. Ordinary vectors are represented by putting arrow mark. If we put the symbol cap, it denotes only unit vectors. Clearly the modulus of a unit vector is 1. Okay. Next, any vector can be written as the modulus length of the vector and the corresponding unit vector in that direction. Suppose, let me write a vector. A vector is equal to modulus of a vector into a cap, where a cap is the unit vector in the direction of a vector. Okay. From which you can able to find the unit vector. So a cap is equal to a vector divided by modulus of a vector. Suppose if you are given with a vector and you are asked to find the unit vector, means you have to write the vector in the numerator. In the denominator you have to write the length of the vector, that is modulus of the vector. Okay. So these things are very important. The concept of unit vectors is very important and you have to remember this. Next, we are going to see another important vector, that is position vector. Okay. So let O be the origin of reference and A be any arbitrary point in space. Then the vector OA vector is called the position vector of the point. Whatever may be the arbitrary point given to you, that point can be converted into a vector. That vector is called the position vector, in which you have to fix the origin of reference. Whatever may be the thing convenient for you, you can put it as a origin of reference. Suppose if I am having the point B, I want to make this point as a vector. For that you have to fix an origin of reference. I can take the origin of reference as O. Now you can join these 2 points and put a direction. Then OB vector is known as the position vector of the point B. So simply position vector means it represents or locates the point in 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. Okay. So only I have mentioned that position vector of A is equal to OA vector, where O is the origin of reference that can be fixed by us for our convenience. Okay. Next, from this you have having an important theorem. I have not mentioned the statement of the theorem, but the concept is very important. Suppose you are having AB vector, this can be written as OB vector minus OA vector. That is, A is the starting point and B is the ending point. So you have to write the expansion as position vector of the end point, that is final point, minus position vector of the initial point. Suppose, for example, if you are having the vector CD vector, how can we expand this CD vector? This can be written as position vector of the final point. Here the final point is D, whose position vector is OD vector. So this can be written as OD vector minus OC vector. Okay, so you have to make a note of these two things. These are very important vectors which we can oftenly use in the problems. Now we are going to see the co-initial vectors and the co-terminus vectors. Okay, so co-initial vectors, the vectors which have the same starting point are called as co-initial vectors. Then you can easily say the definition for co-terminus vectors. If the vectors are starting from the same point, means they are co-initial vectors. If the vectors ending in same point, means we can say the co-terminus. Terminus means ending. So co-terminus vectors. So the yellow line states the co-initial vectors because from the point C, two vectors are starting. That is CB vector and CD vector. So it is co-initial vectors. When you observe the diagram in green, what does it says that? That is two vectors, BA vector and CA vector. Both the vectors are ending at the point A. So both the vectors starting at the same point. So these vectors are co-initial vectors. Here both the vectors are ending in same point. So they are called co-terminus vectors. Next we are going to see the like and unlike vectors. So what is the definition? The vectors having the same direction are known as like vectors. Here the magnitude doesn't matter. Whatever may be the length of the vector, that doesn't matter. It concerns only with the direction. Okay? If two vectors are in same direction, then they are known as like vectors. Whereas in the case of unlike vectors, the vectors having the opposite direction with respect to each other are known as unlike vectors. So I have drawn three diagrams. First diagram, A vector, B vector. Both are having same direction. That is vector A and vector B has the same direction. When you come to the second diagram, so what you can observe? Vector C is opposite direction with the vector D. So they are unlike vectors. So first one is like vectors. Second represents the unlike vectors. Third one, when you observe this is neither like vectors nor unlike vectors. We cannot say that these directions are opposite directions like that. Okay? If it is like this, then you can say that the direction is opposite. Okay? But this you can say this neither like vector nor unlike vector. Okay? So let me see the remaining types in the next video. Thank you. So in the last video, we have discussed the type of vectors up to like and unlike vectors. Okay, as the continuation of that video, we are going to see the rest of the vectors. Okay, next we are going to see coplanar vectors. The definition says that two or more vectors lying in the same or parallel to the plane. So lying on the plane or parallel to the same plane are known as coplanar vectors. Two or more means it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, any number of vectors. Okay. Suppose let me take a plane. So I have drawn the line. You see four lines. Okay, plane you see four lines. This is the plane in which you are having three vectors. That is A vector, B vector, C vector. So that all the three vectors lying in the same plane. So we are saying this as coplanar vectors. This is one of the example I am giving. Not necessarily all the vectors should be like this. One vector may lie here, other vector may lie here, other vector may lie here. Okay. So it can be, but it should be lying on the same plane or it should be parallel to the same plane. Okay. Then we can say that the vectors are coplanar vectors. Okay. So next, collinear vectors. Collinear vectors are also called as parallel vectors. Okay. So both are said. If in the parallel vectors, if you are having any common that vectors are collinear vectors. The definition says that vectors lying on the same line or parallel lines are known as collinear vectors. Okay, so you are familiar with this because we have already discussed about collinear points that you have studied in your lower section. Okay, next, equal vectors. It is very important concept. When we can say the two vectors are equal, we can say the two vectors are equal if they have same direction and magnitude. Okay, so the direction should be same and also the magnitude, that is length of the vectors, also should be same. By the definition, two or more vectors are said to be equal when their magnitude is equal and also their direction is same. They should have the same direction. Then only we can say that the two vectors are equal. Now I can write that I have drawn two lines, that is AB vector and PQ vector, that is vector AB, vector PQ. When you compare these two, their length, that is magnitude for both the vectors is n, and also the direction is also same. So that I can say that AB vector is equal to what is that? PQ vector. So for the equality of vectors, you should have both magnitude and direction should be equal. Okay, if the magnitude is equal and the direction is not equal, that is they are in opposite, means you cannot say that those two vectors are equal. Okay, next, displacement vector. You all know the displacement. What is meant by displacement? From one place to other place we are moving. Say for example, if you are moving from A to B, means then there is a vector AB vector. That vector is known as displacement vector. That is, the point is displaced from position A to position B, then the displacement AB represents a vector AB vector, which is known as displacement vector. Okay. At the last, we are going to discuss negative of a vector. Okay. If two vectors are in the same magnitude, vectors are the same in magnitude but exactly opposite in direction, then both the vectors are negative of each other. Okay, let me consider this diagram. So you are having the vector A vector in this direction whose magnitude is m, and also I have taken other vector B vector whose magnitude is also m. But when you compare the direction of both A vector and the B vector, you can see the difference. That is, both of them exactly opposite to each other. Their magnitude remains the same, but the direction is opposite. So in that case, we are saying that A vector is the negative of B vector or B vector is the negative of A vector. You can write it any way. So that only I have given A vector is equal to minus B vector. One can write it as B vector is equal to minus A vector. Since because their direction is different but magnitude is same. So that only I have written that when you take in magnitude, modulus of A vector is equal to modulus of B vector. Okay. So now we have completed the type of vectors. So we have started with the vectors. The first one we have seen is the physical quantities are broadly classified into scalars and vectors. After that, I have given the definition for scalars and the examples for scalars. And after that, we have discussed about the definition of vectors and the examples of vectors. After that, what is the notation we have to use for the vectors and the representation of vectors. Then after that, we have discussed the type of vectors in which you are having 10 important types we have discussed, which will be helpful in solving the problems and also in our higher educations. Okay, so in the next video we are going to see the algebraic operations on vectors, because we have introduced the topic newly. So we have to study what are all the operations we can perform in vector algebra. That we can continue in the next video. Thank you.